Good? Okay. My name is Matthew Oliver. I'll be your host for this evening. Let's talk basketball. You might be thinking to yourself, Matthew, this is an awfully weird time to be making a playoff predictions video. Didn't round 1 just finish? Yes. Oh, I forgot to turn off my heater. Shoot. Oh, Jesus Christ. As I was saying, Thunder Nuggets open up as Thunder with -700 favorites to win this series. Now, I do have OKC winning in 6, but I think those odds are a little skewed. I mean, we do have the best player in the world playing for the Denver Nuggets, after all. And while it looks like SGA is going to take home the MVP award, Jokic might be playing with a chip on his shoulder for this series. That being said, I think OKC's biggest advantage is obviously their depth. We have seen Jokic be able to play a large amount of minutes in a game and even a series before, but he gasses out by the end usually. Like I said, I have OKC in 6, but if I was going to give a full predictions on how I think this series will go, this is the sequence I'd think it's going to happen in. The same way you can say Jokic has a chip on his shoulder, you could also say the same for SGA. One of the greatest achievements you can get in the NBA is the MVP award. And God knows how much he's heard about how much he doesn't deserve it and how the person he's playing deserves it more than him. Yes, while I do think Jokic is the best player in this series, I also think that OKC's depth and coaching grossly outmatches what Denver's able to produce. Let's move on over to the East and talk about the Pacers-Cavs series. Cavs open up as -550 favorites, which is no surprise. They're comfortably the second best team in the league in the regular season this year. Pacers already managed to pull off a first game upset, and I think this is indicative, which means they now have home court advantage. If I'm honest, I've never really got on the Cavaliers hype train this season. I've always kind of thought they were the second best team in the East, and I could argue that the Knicks are even better. It sucks a little bit for the Cavs, but they've had a great year. But I just think from what we've seen from years prior, the Pacers in the playoffs outperform what they're expected to do, while it feels like the opposite for the Cavaliers. I do think it'll be a nail-biting series, a lot closer than most people originally would have predicted. I have the Pacers winning this one in 7. Next, let's talk about my favorite series, the one I'm most looking forward to watching, and I think a lot of you are too. Warriors-Timberwolves. I don't know how often the series I'm most looking forward to is between a 6 and 7 seed. This might be the first time ever where I say those words. The Timberwolves open up as -180 favorites, and I gotta say, I'm loving the value on the Warriors here. Since Jimmy's joined the Warriors, they've had the #1 defensive in the league. Jimmy, Dre, and Steph play like they've been playing together for 10 years. We all know the history behind Jimmy Butler and the Timberwolves. The Wolves picked a guard 1 pick before Steph and Curry, and Draymond gets to match up against Rudy Gobert. I think Naz Reid is going to be the biggest problem for the Dubs because they don't really have a big guy who can move their feet well on the outside. We also all remember the quote from Steve Kerr saying if they had the #1 overall pick, they would not have picked Anthony Edwards. And if Anthony Edwards is the person we all think he is, cut from that same cloth of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, this is going to light a fire under his ass. This is going to be an amazing series. It's going to be super close. It could go either way. I'm giving it to the Dubs in 7. Last but not least, Celtics-Knicks. Another series where the underdog took game 1. Celebrate your win. I'm not trying to take anything away from you Knicks fans, but Boston Celtics did miss the most amount of threes ever in a playoff game, and it still went to overtime. I think the Celtics are the best in the East. When the playoffs first started, I predicted it would be Thunder, Boston in the finals. My mind tells me it's still going to end up that way, and my heart's telling me it's going to be Warriors-Boston. Either way, I think we're going to see Boston in the finals once again. I have them taking down the Knicks in 6. That gives us Thunder, Warriors, and Pacers-Boston. I think Boston takes the Pacers out in 5 games or less. I think OKC probably wins in 6, giving us Thunder, Boston. I think the Thunder will take home the NBA championship in 6 games against the Boston Celtics. This year, I think there's 4 main things that will dictate who will win the championship. I think #1 is turnovers, being able to capitalize on the other team's turnovers and limiting your own. Defense, I mean, do I have to say anything else? Who gets hot at the right time, who hits threes when they need to. And finally, depth. I think the team with the most depth is probably going to come out of this and win. Boston and Thunder have the 2 deepest rosters in the league, and I think there's a wide gap before you get to the Cavs. And that's why I think they'll be in the finals, and I think the OKC Thunder will win the 2025 NBA championship. If all of this does come true, and I am right, and we assume that SGA wins finals MVP, we could be watching one of an all-time great seasons. All we want to talk about is how Jokic deserves it more. Well, yes, I did say that earlier, and I do think he does. What SGA is doing is not common and shouldn't be taken for granted. Call me biased if you want, I am Canadian after all. But when all the things I say come true, best believe I'm gonna let you know about it. Alright, that was video 1. Hope you guys enjoyed. I don't really have an outro or anything. All good? Okay, beautiful. Alright. Okay. Well, let's get the fuck out of here. I'll do a little thumbnail quick.